good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, yesterday we got reports from undefeated, unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. has 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 big wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Errol Spence has been out the ring, only fought once in 2.5 years, since suffering a horrific car accident just 12 days after unifying the titles against two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter. That was September 28th of 2019, suffered a horrific car accident October 10th. With that said, he came back December 5th of 2020, 14 months later, and he defeated two-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia via unanimous decision, dominating Danny Garcia when everybody was questioning, is Errol Spence even coming back to the squared circle, let alone can he be back into dominating form. Okay, so he dominated Danny Garcia. The only rounds he lost to Danny Garcia was the rounds he chose to give up because Errol Spence obviously had been out the ring for quite some time. There's ring rust, getting acclimated back into being under the lights, so on and so forth. But he dominated Danny Garcia. Then he was scheduled to come back August 21st against legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny PACQUIAO, August 21st in Las Vegas, Nevada at the MGM Grand T-Mobile Arena. Okay, so with that said, he had to be pulled from the fight because he suffered a broken detached retina, which saw Errol Spence extensive period outside the ring even further pushed. Okay, now we haven't seen him since December 5th of 2020, and we are in February of 2022. Okay, so with that said, everybody's questioning, is Errol Spence ever going to be the same? Errol Spence himself, he stated in the Danny Garcia fight, he was only 80% of himself, if that. Okay, and so now you tack on the fact that he was trying to make his way back from the car accident and rehab and things of that nature, whatever lingering effects he had from that, and now move on to a broken detached retina. So with that said, everybody questions and wonders. You have boxing pundits, you have his peers, media, fans, everybody's questioning what's going to be next from Errol Spence. What are we going to see from Errol Spence? Then came out his longtime sparring partner, who was a professional boxer, 6 wins, no losses, with 6 knockouts. He comes out. He's been sparring Errol Spence since Errol Spence was 16 years of age. Okay, so that's 15 years he's been sparring Errol Spence. And he comes out and he's truthful. And he says that for a while, all he felt from Errol Spence was increase in speed and his ring IQ. He's paying a lot more attention to details when it comes to, the little nuances. So he's getting better in the ring IQ and the speed department. But he says his power simply wasn't there. He said even up to 2 months ago, Errol Spence's power just wasn't there. He said I was able to just walk through his punches. Okay, he stated, but yesterday, Errol Spence's power came back 97%. Okay, he said that Errol Spence, he knocked him, nearly knocked him out, hit him on the nose of his bridge of his nose. He saw stars, and it took 2 rounds to recover. Okay, so he's stating that Errol Spence this is power he's never felt before from Errol Spence, and he's been sparring Errol Spence for 15 years. Okay, that coming from marvelous JARVIS. Okay, who's a professional boxer, who's also a well-renowned YouTuber, has well over 300,000 YouTuber followers. So, like you said, he's not doing this, just for cap or just to, big up Errol Spence or just because they're friends. He says that he's somebody who's going to tell Errol Spence the truth and tell the fans and the people the truth, right? So he says his power wasn't there, his speed was there, but he can tell he just wasn't his normal self. So he said now his power is all the way back, okay? So he gave a definition and explained what took place in the sparring session. With that said, Errol Spence is slated to face off in a massive unification bout against Cuban star boxer who's the WBA, World Boxing Association's welterweight super champion in Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas is 27 wins, 4 losses, no draws, 12 wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 5'9", with a 69-inch arm reach. Okay, so with that said, Yordenis Ugas is 4 years. Errol Spence is elder, or 2 years, depending upon when their birthdays are. But Yordenis Ugas is coming off of a shocking performance where he dominated and replaced Errol Spence for Errol Spence's fight with Manny Pacquiao. Yordenis Ugas was elevated into that position, and he fought Manny Pacquiao, and he absolutely dominated Manny Pacquiao. Won a unanimous decision, but there weren't many rounds that you could give to Manny Pacquiao. He just simply outclassed and outboxed Manny Pacquiao. Now, many people, they point to the fact that Manny Pacquiao was out the ring for 2 years since he had defeated former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, July of 2019. Manny Pacquiao is 42 years of age, so he's on the wrong side of 40, and he had a 2-year layoff. But you leave it up to Manny Pacquiao's Hall of Fame, well-renowned trainer, Freddie Roach. Manny Pacquiao and his team, they said that the layoff did nothing but help Manny Pacquiao let his body recover and let him rest. So they said Manny Pacquiao was at his best, was, one of the best training camps he's had. So with that said, he got dominated in the fight. And Manny Pacquiao, he stated that he had leg cramps. That was the reason why he struggled, in the fight, and that, he essentially, couldn't move like he wanted to. He couldn't do what he wanted to. And he stated that Yordenis Ugas was one of the most easiest opponents he's ever faced. And in the rematch, he would dominate Yordenis Ugas. But you can see photos, clips, and, things of that nature of Manny Pacquiao after the fight with both eyes closed. His wife had to feed him, because he couldn't see to feed himself. So, Manny Pacquiao, he was in a bad way after the fight with Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas couldn't miss the jab. He couldn't miss the straight right hand. Jab into the solar plex, changing directions, backing Manny Pacquiao up. He completely confused and outboxed Manny Pacquiao. So with that said, it looks like we're going to get Errol Spence versus Yordenis Ugas, April 16th, Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboy Stadium. Okay, it looks like that's where we're going to get our next fight from Errol Spence. And Yordenis Ugas, he was watching a build-up for himself and Errol Spence. And Yordenis Ugas, in the build-up, he stated that, he did a little contradiction, right? Because at one point, somebody asked Yordenis Ugas, when is the fight for you and Errol Spence? He said, I don't know if it's April or May. And then later on in the conversation, he says, I'll see you in, May, he essentially said May 16th, okay? But he's speaking in Spanish, obviously. So, Yordenis Ugas, and Errol Spence are on a collision course. So, Yordenis Ugas, he's watching the build-up, and he heard about, this is the second time, so he did it twice. So, Yordenis Ugas is watching the build-up, and Yordenis Ugas essentially is saying that he's the best welterweight, and, everybody's looking forward to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Terrence Crawford, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO reigning welterweight world champion, superstar boxer who's widely considered by many to be #1 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, with a resume of 38 wins, no loss and no draws, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. He and Yordenis Ugas, they fought in the amateurs. Yordenis Ugas beat Terrence Crawford in the amateurs, okay? So the biggest fight in boxing is everybody wants to see Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr. So Yordenis Ugas says that that's not going to happen because it's going to be himself versus Terrence Crawford. He's going to beat Errol Spence Jr., okay? And then he goes on to say that not only is he going to beat Errol Spence Jr., but all of the talk of Errol Spence getting stronger and better in sparring is not going to help Errol Spence Jr., okay? He's just technically, he's the best welterweight in the world, and that the boxing world is going to see that he truly should have gotten a nod in his fight against two-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter, which he lost back in March of 2019, split decision. He felt that he won that fight. He outboxed Shawn Porter is what he felt, and he feels like he should have got the nod there. He dominated Manny Pacquiao. Now he's going to dominate Errol Spence, and he's going to dominate Terrence Crawford. And he says all of the sparring talk and Errol Spence getting stronger is simply not going to matter. And he'll be considered the best welterweight of this era. Well, if Yordenis Ugas, because there's a lot of people that felt he beat Sean Porter. Obviously, he didn't get the nod. He beat Manny Pacquiao hands down. If he beats Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, there's no question he would be considered the best welterweight in the world. And the storyline would be absolutely enormous because he would do so at 35, 36 plus years of age, okay? At this advanced stage in his career, he would have shown that he got better like fine wine, okay? Because he already has multiple losses on his resume. He lost Amir Imam, back a unanimous decision back in 2014. He lost to Johnny Garcia, a split decision back in 2012. You know, so he has losses on his resume that, you know, many people wrote Yordenis Ugas off. So this is a clear-cut situation where Yordenis Ugas, you know, would absolutely shock the world because he's the underdog. He doesn't have much power. He's not, you know, he's very technically sound. He's very skilled. He's not the quickest guy in the world. And he's not the strongest guy in the world. So if you don't have those intangibles against Errol Spence, and if what Marvelous Jarvis is saying, that Errol Spence is back with 90%, 97% of his power, or what we've seen early in his career, and now Errol Spence is committed to a strength and condition coach. He's committed to a nutritionist. Things have changed for Errol Spence. And Yordenis Ugas is able to outbox Errol Spence. That will speak volumes. So Yordenis Ugas, he responds. He says, it won't matter what Errol Spence is doing in training camp because Errol Spence is going to lose this fight. Yordenis Ugas say that I am the best welterweight in the world. You'll find out April 16th. And then you'll find out even more so when I beat Terence Crawford. And he also tells Terence Crawford to sign with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. We know Terence Crawford, he's currently in a legal battle with his former promotional company, legendary promoter, Top Rank, and CEO Bob Arum, and Top Rank. And he stated he's pleading with Terence Crawford to sign with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, founder and advisor Al Heyman, which Ugas is with, and don't duck the fight after I beat Errol Spence. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.